Teaching 119. I wanted humanity to know the history of the people of Israel, because I took that people as an instrument for my lessons and subjected them to great tests so that they would be like an open book for all generations. Those 12 tribes represented humanity of all times, but now the resemblance of that captive people in a foreign land is today's world, slaves to sin and materialism, which are the forces that represent the power of the new pharaoh, is greater. If at that time the charity of Jehovah rescued his people, tracing a path through the desert and leading them to Canaan, now I come as a light of justice and love to rescue all the peoples of the earth from their captivity, to lead them to the promised land. Now I will lead your spirit to my kingdom of light and peace, and I will also make a new manna descend on the spirits, which will be sustenance of eternal life in their long journey. I will make a new alliance with men, but this will not be with symbols, my spirit will be present in it. In my people the ideal of goodness and the desire to unite with all the peoples of the world will reawaken, as those 12 tribes were united when they crossed the vast desert, animated by the same ideal. The struggle will be great and obstacles, enemies and temptations will arise along the way, but soldiers full of courage and apostles full of charity and faith will come out of that journey. Throughout the journey, but above all in times of trial, I will encourage the multitudes and encourage their faith with my prodigies, and when men have achieved peace and live in harmony, I will cause them to start savoring the sweet fruits of the kingdom of light and peace from this earth, as a foretaste of the delights that the Spirit will have later, when it arrives to dwell in the spiritual mansion. The fruits that the Spirit collects from here will be compensation for the sacrifices, struggles and deprivations that your heart has suffered. Later, when this people, like an immense crowd, knocks at the doors of my kingdom, I will go out joyfully to open it to tell them. Come to me and leave the dust of the road and the fatigue, here is the city of peace, prepared decorated, waiting for its new inhabitants. The people, fearful in the presence of their Father, will believe that the hour of their judgment has arrived, then I will tell them do not fear, come to my house which is yours, the desert has already purified you and made you worthy of coming to me. People, looking at so much perversity among men, knowing their hatreds and their wars and knowing the painful result of materialistic doctrines, you have thought that in order for this humanity to regenerate itself and convert to my law, first, they will have to endure great tests and it will take a long time for them to love each other according to my teaching. I tell you that although it is true that great trials await this world, the days of pain will be shortened, because its bitterness will be so great that it will make men wake up, turn their eyes towards me and listen the voice of your conscience that will ask you to comply with my law. My justice will be what cuts off everything bad that exists in this world. First, I will scrutinize everything, religions, sciences and institutions, and then the sickle of divine justice will pass, burning the tares and leaving the wheat. I will leave every good seed that I find in the hearts of men so that it continues to germinate in the spirit of humanity. There are entire peoples and nations that have shed my seed from their hearts, others who have forgotten my maxims, others who neither watch nor pray. However, and despite the sterility in which they live, these peoples will soon be converted into fertile lands, because my charity will descend into their hearts. It is necessary that you prepare the tools, that you fill the barn with the spiritual seed that I have brought you and that, through the gifts that I have entrusted to you, you know the hour in which you will have to leave your rest, to rise up to sow, you will watch and pray, so that blessed dawn does not surprise you asleep in ignorance, in materialism or in sin, because then you would not recognize the time to go after the lands, and when you wanted to get up, you would no longer find the strength to fight. If you have faith in my word, prepare yourselves from now on through prayer, so that you may find the land suitable for sowing. If you do not finish this work, your children will take the seed of love that I have given you and will carry my mandates to an end. Blessed are the farmers who are ordered to fertilize and cultivate the land, because they will see the dew of my grace descend on their fields, which will be the constant blessing of the Father on the efforts of the Son and a caress for all those who rise to faith and life. Long ago you were told that the moment would come when man would understand everything revealed since past times, and I tell you that that time has already begun, and that in it your spirit receives my light through inspiration. Christ came into the world and opened the way for you, teaching you with his life, with his works and his words, the perfect way to comply with the law. Since before he appeared in the world, he was announced by the prophets, so that the people would wait for him and recognize him when they saw him before their eyes. In Abraham and in his son Isaac, I gave you an image of what the Redeemer's sacrifice would be, when I put to the test the love that Abraham professed for me by asking him, by his own hand, to sacrifice his son, his beloved Isaac. In that act, if you know how to meditate, you will find a likeness of what was later the sacrifice of the only begotten for the salvation of the world. Abraham was the representation of God, and Isaac the image of Jesus. At that time the patriarch thought that if the Lord asked him for the life of his son, it was so that the blood of the innocent would wash away the faults of the people, and despite deeply loving the one who was of his own flesh, the love was stronger in him for obedience towards his God and charity in love towards his people, than the life of his beloved son. The obedient Abraham was about to deliver the mortal blow on his son, at the moment in which, overcome with pain, he raised his arm to sacrifice him. My power stopped him, ordering him to immolate a lamb instead of his son, so that the symbol would remain, as a testimony of love and obedience. Centuries later, humanity had to ask me for the sacrifice of Jesus, my beloved Son, and I had to deliver it to you, so that his example of meekness, sealed with his sacrifice and with his blood, would remain indelibly written in the conscience of humanity. If in the case of Isaac, a lamb came to replace him to rescue his life, in the case of Jesus there was no one to replace him, because he knew that it was necessary that his blood be shed, so that the essence and the light of that sacrifice enlighten the spirit, the heart and understanding of men lacking in spirituality. That is why Jesus is also called the Lamb of God. The law told you, "You shall not kill," and Christ in his doctrine of love taught you the sublime lesson of dying to save others. Blessed is he who dies giving life to those who need it, because he will live forever. See how the time has come for you to extract the spiritual essence contained in my past revelations, those which humanity only interprets in a material way, without trying to delve into them to find their spiritual meaning. I place you at the beginning of the path of analysis, so that later you can arrive at the foundation of my lessons. If everything is completely clarified, your spirit would not make an effort to penetrate to the depths of my word. I am going to remind you how in that second era, when that bloodthirsty crowd finally contemplated Jesus hanging on the cross and agonizing with two other sentenced men next to him, heard him say to the Father, "Forgive them, Lord, because they do not know what they do." All those present heard, but did not understand those words, and time had to pass for men to understand that that blood spilled slowly on earth was the symbol of divine love and supreme forgiveness, which descends like an infinite mantle to cover all men. Many centuries have passed and the humanity of this time, that cries when remembering the sacrifice of Jesus, and that is amazed at the cruelty of those who took him to the gallows, is the same that sacrifices thousands of brothers every day. If Christ returned to earth at this time, made man, he would no longer say as on Calvary, "Father, forgive them, because they do not know what they are doing," because now you fully receive the light of consciousness and the Spirit has evolved considerably. Who ignores that I am the giver of life, that therefore, no one can take that of his brother? If man cannot give existence, he is also not authorized to take what he cannot return. Humanity. Do you think you are complying with my law just because you say you have a religion and you comply with external worship? In the law you were told, "You shall not kill," and you are profaning that commandment by pouring out in torrents, on the altar of your sin, the blood of your brothers. Israelis and Christians go to war and kill each other. Did I not give one and the other a single law? The restitution will be bloody and painful, because the lives that men have taken and the blood they have shed, cry out for justice. Woe to those who have killed, and even more to those who have advised or ordered to kill. Step by step the peoples advance towards the valley where they will come together to be judged. And still they dare to pronounce my name who make war and carry their hands stained with the blood of their brothers. Are these perhaps the flowers or the fruits of the doctrine that I have taught you? Did you not learn from Jesus how he forgave, blessing those who offended him and died giving life to his executioners? Men have doubted my word and failed in faith, therefore they have entrusted everything to their strength. Then I have left them to be disillusioned by themselves and reap the fruit of their works, because only then will they open their eyes to understand the truth. On this table of love there are delicacies that not even the kings of the earth could offer. There is the bread from heaven that the poor seek and the wine that the outcasts of the world come to drink. Eat and drink, but never become proud of possessing these goods, because you will be hiding your vanity under your rags, and I want you to be humble of spirit and heart. Take the example of those who, carrying a royal mantle on their shoulders, also know how to carry humility in their hearts. My bread and wine are for everyone, because I see all of you in need of the Spirit. In the beginning I donated to you all with my grace, which is a divine seed. Since then you have gone through different paths according to your destiny, and on those paths each one has harvested according to his sowing, some the fruits in abundance, others have only reaped pain and misery. While some have lived briefly on earth, because they have obtained the necessary light to rise, others, living long in the valley of tears, have not even come to know who they are or where they are going. I have mercy on those spirits that walk aimlessly, stopping them to show them the path that leads to the promised land. The light of my Spirit penetrates every heart, even when it remains closed. Similar to this is the light of the King's star, which apparently does not penetrate your bedroom when it is closed, but, nevertheless, its invisible rays do reach its interior, giving life to the environment. You do not wait for my light to penetrate your interior, keeping the doors of your spirit closed. How pleasant it will be to find you with your inner temple prepared, receiving the grace of my charity. Let me heal you and comfort you, and then I will make you my servants and disciples. Many of you who are now nothing in life, even in your family you are the last, you will soon see yourself sitting at my table. Those of you who have been disowned and expelled from the bosom of your own, tomorrow you will be recognized by the same ones who had ignored you. Do you want to sensitize or temper your heart? Take this path, which is the path of humility, elevation and charity. Take the balm to the sick, approach the beds of pain, console those who suffer and respect those who before you have taken up this cross, imitate those who stay awake studying my work and those who, despite drinking a chalice of bitterness, impart sweetness among their brothers. I speak thus to those who are going to begin to pronounce the first words of the spiritual language, to the infants to whom I am teaching the principles of the law and the purpose of my work. In it you will learn that praying from spirit to spirit and loving your brothers, you will not only heal the sick, but you will resurrect the dead. In this humble region, where I am manifesting myself, I have come to reveal to you that the third era began in 1866, and that this communication will end in the year 1950, when many of my children have already listened to me. Truly I tell you that these mouths that have given you my teaching have not spoken of their own free will, but under divine inspiration. Beloved farmers of this countryside, embrace your mission with true love, till my lands, opening furrows, in which you deposit the divine seed. Know the seed so that you sow only from it, because in its fruit will be the elevation and light of your spirit. Do you think it is fair to have to lament upon reaching the spiritual home, just for your lack of zeal in the mission that led you to inhabit the earth? Do not forget that at every step I tell you to sow the wheat in my fields, because those lands where the tares and the nettle would have grown, will be cut down by the sickle of divine justice. I said the same thing to the disciples and to the multitudes in the second era. Truly I say to you, that every tree that had not been planted by the hand of my heavenly Father, will be uprooted. Pray, servants, do it humbly before your Father and try that your sowing is pleasing to my eyes. Tirelessly clean your lands, seek the light to illuminate errors, until only wheat bears fruit. A clean seed is what you have received, but your smallness has not managed to understand that purity, and without realizing it, you have mixed it with other seeds that are not mine. I have told you, know the seed, so that you purify your crops one by one and, when your children emerge in the path of the Lord, from their lips only the truth sprouts. I see those who struggle to know the foundation of this doctrine, but who until now have not been able to free themselves from the influence of strange doctrines, religions and dogmas. People, help my spokesman with your prayers, train and strengthen your prophets. Do not forget that when my communication is about to end, it will reveal many lessons that I have reserved to finalize this testament with a finishing touch. After the time of this communication, My light will help you to understand what you heard, with which you will be able to separate what is essential and true, from what is superfluous, that is, from what is of matter. I will inspire this people, witnesses of my word, to deeply study my teachings, so that they know how to analyze what I said and what is the essence of my doctrine. When you have passed the stage of preparation and are prepared to teach, I will open the way for you, and then you will no longer be intimidated by the stumbling blocks and thorns or the treacherous ties and threats that you find, because everything will already be prepared for your sowing. I will have arranged everything, and my light will pour down on you as the dew descends on the valleys in the silence of the nights. Love is what you will have to sow. How do you want peoples to make peace pacts, if love does not exist in their hearts? I told you that peace would be in men of goodwill, and in no people on earth do I find that goodwill. That is why it is necessary for an unambitious people to emerge from the riches of the world, to be the one to teach charity, prayer, virtue and faith. I will call that people mine, and men will know them as the people of God. From the morality of its men, from their good customs, and from the virtuous life they lead, peace will sprout that fills humanity with well-being, without forgetting that perfect peace, that which is the only one capable of flooding the spirit with happiness. It only descends to the one who goes in search of it through true love. When will you achieve peace of mind, if you haven't even managed to achieve peace of heart? I tell you, until the last murder weapon has been destroyed, there will be no peace among men. Murder weapons are all those with which men kill each other, kill morality, deprive others of liberty, take away their health, take away their peace of mind or destroy their faith. The limit for so many evils to cease is near. That is why my voice, resounding in the deepest of the spirits, has made the call to the men of all the peoples, so that they lay down the weapons of destruction and death, and in the fire of my justice they may be consumed. Then I will speak spiritually, and my voice will be heard in the conscience of all my children. If proud and foolish humanity would meditate and pray, they would realize where they are heading and stop their steps, but full light cannot be made in their spirits, because they are blinded by hatred and ambition. Pray, all who wish to be part of the people of peace, come closer to the light, all those who wish to extend a fraternal hand to their brothers, to save them. The seed of evil, scattered throughout the land, is bearing fruit like never before, but I have to tell you that the good seed is also sprouting from different parts of the planet. Prepare yourselves spiritually, all of you who feel that this divine seed is beginning to germinate in your heart, so that when you find other sours on your paths, you can recognize them and unite in my law. My peace be with you.